Okay. Alright. Now we're live. Now we're live, hopefully. Crossing my fingers that it will work this time, hopefully. Surely. Surely the
Now
sec.
we're live,
Surely the sec.
hopefully.
Okay.
Crossing my fingers.
Okay, I don't want to hear myself twice. Um, we are now live, for better or for worse. Um, let's see here. Is it going to be on my channel? Okay. Yeah, it is. So for if anyone is wondering why, um, like I'm making it for the second time, it's because for the first time I started it, the audio just decided not to work. I'm not sure what happened, but I restarted the stream and it worked. So that's that. Um, you gotta love that, don't you? But I don't know. I figured that perhaps just streaming a little bit since I have the chance would be decent. So long as maybe someone will show up. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. But I didn't necessarily have anything in mind when starting up this stream. I was just like, well, I mean, I'm gonna be home alone for a couple hours, so I might as well maybe jump on stream and do something, at least for a little bit, uh, and see if anyone decides to show up. Um, because like for me, when I think about like going for a stream or something, also the microphone quality is probably really shit. Um, I'm not sure what I can do about that. Because I have a terrible microphone and I don't want to stream off my ThinkPad. Because that will like destroy it. Because it has. I mean, it's not really the best device for streaming, so I just stream off my desktop. But my desktop doesn't have a good microphone. Um, so like, but the thing is, like, returning back to the topic of streaming, that for me, I always feel that like if I'm gonna be streaming something, uh, I feel like at least like when I go into it, I really don't have any things that I want to necessarily do on stream. I just kind of feel like uh, I don't know, just like chatting or something. It's kind of just like an open chat room, I guess. Um, so like if nobody shows up, then I'm not exactly sure what to talk about, so I just end up rambling about nothing really. Uh, but I guess I could talk a little bit about what I've been doing today until someone like until more people start seeing the notification and perhaps someone shows up. Let's see today. Like just now, uh, I had a double cheeseburger and a Mountain Dew. Double cheeseburger from McDonald's, of course, because I live in Burgerland. Uh, and it's been quite a bit since I had McDonald's. Like I know, like some people say McDonald's is terrible, but I'm someone who kind of enjoys eating fast food, not all the time. So I'm sure if I ate fast food more often, I would be singing a different song, singing a different tune. I'm not sure exactly what the saying goes, but I probably wouldn't be doing that, but I had some McDonald's and had a Mountain Dew, which is the most which is the drink that I've been drinking for way too long, honestly. But I can't really get over it. Still drinking some now. I'm not sure if the microphone actually picks it up or not because it's a terrible microphone. Because earlier I had like the AC in my house was on, and even though it's on the other side of the house, um, like I was afraid that perhaps it would pick it up because sometimes when I vlog, you could hear the AC just going crazy, and that's like what the background noise is sometimes. But the microphone I have doesn't pick that up. It barely picks up my voice, so I guess that's a positive to it. Let's see. There we go. Uh, yeah, it just started raining outside. I think there's going to be a storm coming through my area. Wait, so it's about to get comfy. It's about to get comfy. So we're doing a stormy stream. Stormy. Uh, but it should be decent, I guess, as so long as the power doesn't go out. Which I don't. It shouldn't. It hasn't gone out in a while. Um, though one day recently it did go out. Um, it was about a week ago. Like during the middle of the night, the power did go out in my area, and it was stormy that night. So I assumed that, well, maybe it was like a tree knocked over a power line. But until I woke up and I looked outside, and I saw that some idiot in a car crashed, excuse me, into like a light, not a light pole, but like the power line, and knocked down the power line. So everybody on the block was like, it didn't have power because this guy crashed into a power line at night. Uh, and it took a while to get back, but it eventually got resolved and everything. It would have been terrible. Like that would have been way worse if it was during the day, because like if I was doing something on my computer and the power just goes out, and then I'm gonna be like, well, what am I gonna do now? Uh, but in terms of like, I guess like power outage stories, um, one of my fondest memories, like in terms of just watching anime, was when I originally watched Serial Experiments Lane, and when I was watching it, it was during like a really major power outage that we had that lasted about a day or so in my area. So what ended up happening is that I had the files loaded already onto my computer, and I like during the entirety of the power outage, like I was just watching um, Serial Experiments Lane on my laptop, which was able to run off battery power for a while. I just watched Lane in the darkness for as long as the battery lasted, which wasn't that long because it's a kind of crappy laptop. But it was a really nice experience, I guess, and I always remember that when I think about like cool times I watched anime, because like sometimes uh well, not sometimes, but I'm a believer that like the environment that you watch something will is able to enhance the type of experience that you find within the show. So depending on like some other type of external factors, it could enhance like your time watching an anime, which I guess is pretty neat. Um, but like that's one that I remember distinctly, and that's one of the reasons why I am an advocate of like downloading stuff, like downloading anime, because I always live in constant fear that um, the type of the anime I'm watching or where it is located will one day just disappear, and then there will be shows that uh, I wanted to watch at some point just are no longer there to download or to stream at all. And that's happened before to me, like not just with this Lane one, but with a few other ones I just can't remember at the moment. But that's one of the reasons why I archive anime on hard drives and everything. Uh, that like in the offhand chance that I don't have internet or there is a power outage, then how else am I gonna watch my anime, right? But I don't know, just some random little rambles, I guess. In terms of that. But I guess another good thing is not just downloading anime, but having it on disc. Because there's been times, um, but like I just like to go, just pop in a disc onto my like PS3, which is hooked up to my monitor, and just watch something. Because whenever I do that, I can just sit down and watch 10 episodes, no sweat. And it seems like I could just watch way more anime if I watch it on disc. Because when I watch it on the computer, it's so easy to tap over and look at something else, right? So, uh, yeah. Uh, take another sip of my soda. I'm not sure if I have it on the right chat. Because there's top chat and I still don't have any idea what I'm doing when it comes to streams. So I should do live chat, right? There we go. That's not making much of a difference. Um, uh, well, I guess it kind of does. It's more convenient to just kind of have it off to the side there, in like a floating window as opposed to like this little thing. Because when I was clicking it, switching between live chat and top chat, the like it would get cut off and whatever. I don't know. But let's see here. Let's see. Staying wary. Hey, Frogman. Staying wary of attention span is important in my opinion. Physical media is great for that. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Uh, that like what I was saying when I will watch anime on like a DVD or something. Like you, see, you don't have the distraction of the internet there, and I'm sure that's equally the same for like if you read something like you're reading manga or you're reading a book. Like I like physically. That's why I have a large collection of like physical books because I've never been able to uh, understand like the whole digital side of things. Because I've never read a digital book, even though I have a ton of PDFs and stuff. Like I've read like research papers and stuff like that, like PDFs and skim some of that. But when it comes to reading an actual book, I need to have it in my hands. Otherwise, there's no chance of me reading it because I'll get distracted otherwise. Especially like reading on a computer is the worst thing. I don't understand how people can do that. I sometimes had to do that when I was in school, and like I just couldn't handle that. 'Cause, I don't know. It just seems like the wrong kind of device to do reading on. It's more for like watching and whatnot. There goes the AC I was talking about again. Hopefully it's not that bad. And also hopefully, like I'll reiterate again that hopefully the microphone audio is not that bad. Because I'm recording this on a really old pair at this point. A really old pair of SteelSeries Siberia, like the Siberia V2s. It was this old gamer headset I had when I first built my original computer, and I have never bothered to buy a microphone for my desktop, like a USB microphone. I was gonna buy one a while back, because I was like, yeah, I could use it for YouTube videos and stuff, but then I never did. And I'm like, this microphone is good enough. And then, consequently, I ended up, like the last video that I did. Let's see here. Uh, the uh, the girls I used to fall in love with. I recorded it on this one, um, but like I was listening back after I edited the audio to it and put the video over it, um, and it was recorded on this mic. That I was like, should I re-record it on my laptop or something? Because it sounds kind of like I don't know. It bothered me a little bit, but um, I don't know. But it also for me it would be kind of weird that there would be like it's kind of like a coin toss of which microphone Pars decides to record something on, and I like either it be like a vlog or like on the ThinkPad microphone or like this one. But I guess that kind of that's the fun part, right? That's the fun part. Uh, though I am running a filter in OBS, so hopefully it reduces the noise because when I first started like testing with this microphone, it sounded awful. Oh, hey White Hand, what's up? Uh, just just doing a random little stream thing here. Uh, Crack Kitchen. Hello, Based King. Is that a? Hey, it's a Suba Heap profile picture. Nice. Yeah, man, I that just reminds me I haven't read a VN in a long time. Like after I finished reading Tsubahibi, there was other VNs that I wanted to get around to, but then I just haven't. I haven't really been too motivated. It's just been like anime and stuff. but even more so than VN. Like I was thinking the other day, like when was the last time I read a manga? Because like I was looking at my list and stuff that the only manga I've really read in the past year is Yotsubato. Uh, and that's only because like I had it physically and I could kind of pick it up and read it whenever. It's like this chill thing to like read a chapter here or there, or sometimes I'll just blast through a volume. But I haven't read a manga and like way back, like when I was even before I was in uni, like when I was in high school, I used to read manga all the time, and that's why I have a larger manga collection. But these days, like I just I have manga downloaded onto my computer, but then I don't touch it. But I have like all these plans, like oh I'll read that one eventually. Um, and even like I have a to-do.txt on my desktop uh, that's just like clean manga plan to read because there's stuff on there that I have like 500 manga I plan to read, and I know I'm never gonna get around to that crap. Like a lot of this stuff I don't really care about, because I'm way more picky about reading manga than I am with anime. Like with anime, I'll just watch anything, and then with manga, like I'll read 5 chapters of a really good manga or like a critically acclaimed one, and then just never touch it again. Uh, but let's see, what do I have else currently reading manga? Excluding light novels. Um, oh, Kami no Mizo Shiro Sekai. The World God Only Knows. Okay, I'll mention it here because I'm on the topic of it. But that's the manga that I'll never finish, or not that I'll never finish, but I'm scared to finish it. And that's The World God Only Knows, Kami no Mizo Shiro Sekai. Uh, because like the thing is that I really like the whole thing with Kama is talking about 3D PD, but I know, or I fear what the manga will turn into, which is like this whole Ryaju propaganda thing about how like the real world is better than game world and stuff like that. Because that's the direction it's heading, and that's why I'm scared to finish reading it. I'm on chapter 190 out of 271, and I've started to get uh I guess like the feeling that that's where it's heading. And even though I really like a lot of the early chapters and the early arcs, uh I haven't found it in me to finish it, and it's just been permanently on hold for a while. Because I just don't want it, or I know it will go there, but I have like I don't want to see it go there. I stopped I stopped reading ecchi manga. Became the only thing I did all day. That was a few years ago. It needs to be on schedule or something. Yeah. Uh, reading ecchi manga was fun. One of my fondest memories of reading manga was with the series Prison School. Um, what was it in Japanese? It was like Kangoku Gakuen or something. Hold on. Yeah, Kangoku Gakuen. I do remember it correctly. Um, but that was that one series where like the five, I think it was 5 guys, go to like what was previously an all girls school, and it's like it's definitely a fetish thing, um, but it was like one of the best experiences I had reading a manga, and up until a certain point, people who have read that manga or know what I'm talking about know what the point I'm talking about is, but like I would read that. I started reading that one night, and then I didn't sleep that night, and then I went to school the next day and continued reading it in school, and I would just be like no shame reading Prison School in class and stuff. This is at the point where like I stopped giving a shit about school, and I was just like reading manga in class and stuff because I was almost about to graduate. Uh, and that was really fun, and I had such a blast reading through that. Um, and that was an ecchi manga. But then like I caught up to it because it was currently being written, and it was the infamous what was it called? The cavalry arc in the manga, and that's the point where the author decided to drag it out, and he ultimately killed the series because like it just the pacing crawled, or the pacing came to a crawl, and nothing happened, and then what was actually happening was retarded, and then like the whole like trying to wrap up that whole shitty arc, and then like the ending wasn't that good. I laughed too much with that. Conflicts with what I'd rather be feeling. Well, yeah. Um, and I guess like looking at my currently reading manga. Let's see what else I had on here. A couple of like light novels and whatnot. And like I haven't read light novels in so long. I used to read light novels all the time, but now I don't. This is what happens uh when you get really lazy, or I guess like dedicating time to different things, I guess, which is an unfortunate consequence. It's not that bad though. There was a couple light novels that I was into, but um I could always get back into that whenever I feel like it. I'm just clicking through mail now, cause why not? Let's see. Yeah, I've been wanting to get into light novels, but I prefer physical, and I have no room to collect at the moment. Oh, yeah, that's how I feel about them. One of my favorite light novel series is Boogie Pop, and then also Origairu. Boogie Pop unfortunately doesn't have any more physical releases because Seven Seas is an incompetent company who only licenses. Uh, I think all they do is license Yuri manga now. I'm not sure. I know they don't. They do either. They used to do Yuri for a long time, but now they only do like isekai. Everybody does isekai nowadays. It's awful. Like I don't necessarily hate isekai, but like if you will look at the output of like what the publishers are doing, like Yen Press and Seven Seas, that's all they're doing. And like let's see, I'm gonna look this up to confirm. The last time I wanted to check this out. I went onto Amazon and I looked up uh, like the top like the bestsellers in teen and young adult light novels, and it took me a very long time to find the first non-isekai light novel, uh, which is unfortunate, and that seems like it's still the case right now. In a lot of these series, I didn't even know that they were a thing. Uh, 'Cause I guess there's a market for that now. Um, and I don't want to just like get on get on the case of people who like isekai because they could do their own thing. But what I dislike is that I feel that it's taking away resources from uh, other light novels being published that they're going like so narrow into it. And I could be wrong though, but like I was really pissed off that like they a while back when Boogie Pop 2019 was airing, I think that's what it was, the most recent series. Uh, Seven Seas decided to republish the original Boogie Pop series in two big omnibuses, which is the cheapest way to get them now because I think you could get them for less than $20. Um, but what ended up happening is that it was kind of like a test run, and they wanted to see if they sold, and if they did sell, then the guy who was translating them, what was his name? That was the guy, the translator for Boogie Pop. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but like I know his name. It'll probably come to me in like 5 seconds when it doesn't matter anymore. But he had continued to translate it, or because he was able to, because like when they republished them, they also threw in like two volumes that were never published in officially in the United States before. So he was willing to continue translating it, but like I guess it didn't sell that well, and they haven't released any since. So it's basically dead in the water. Now there is a fan project for people who want to read Boogie Pop. It's on the site threadstotheworld.com, and I think this one's actually stalled right now too, which is terrible. Uh, they were translating volume 8, which is Boogie Pop Countdown Embryo Erosion. They were previously translating the Peppermint Wizard, and they did finish that one. So they have completed a volume, fan translating it. But right now they went on a brief hiatus. But that's better than most projects get. Because one project I was following really closely was this one guy who allegedly was going to translate Kara no Kyokai, the original novels. And people who are familiar with the Kara no Kyokai fan translations know that there's a particular translator out there. Not gonna say his name, but there's a certain translator out there who did finish translating the Kara no Kyokai series, but he didn't do a good job of it, or at best it was very questionable. Um, and there was another project that was going alongside it, but that one didn't end up finishing. So we only have the questionable translation left. Yeah, someone else remembers it. I actually finished reading the first volume of Kara no Kyokai with that guy's translation. Like I didn't, it wasn't that bad, but I felt like there would be better. There's a better way to go about reading it. Uh, so there was supposedly this guy who was going to retranslate Kara no Kyokai, and he had a website and everything made, like, because there was like a whole vote uh, being done, and like he made a website and it was like, I'm gonna translate Kara no Kyokai, and then there was another series. I want to say it was Gamers, but I might be wrong. And then what ended up happening, like I was checking up on that site, and then one day the site was just gone, and I looked up for this guy, and I think he was posting stuff on Reddit. His account was gone, and I think the Twitter that he had was gone too. So that project just ended up not happening. I don't know what. There might have been something to do with it, or it might have just been like someone who just wanted to see the world burn, I guess. Wanted to promise something that they couldn't deliver, because not translating shit, not easy. It is not easy. Uh, Especially for like, unless you're really good at Japanese, it will take a long ass time. Or let's see here if I could find it. I I did start translating something. Uh, Tenpo Otoko, the the book by Honda Toru. I translated the preface to it. It's up on my WordPress. Um, but that just doing the preface took me days. I have gotten better at Japanese in the time since, but like unless you're nearly fluent, it's gonna take you a long time to do it. So that's probably what happened with that guy. That he was probably thinking like, oh yeah, it's just a light novel. How hard can it be? But then once you get the material and you're like flipping through it and realizing that well, especially with something that's part of the Nasu-verse, there's like this whole thing on the Novinsker forums. I think SQ. How do you spell that? But there's like this whole oh, it's Beast Slayer. It's there's like this whole guide on uh yeah, here we go. Type Moon Glossary Index. That's what I was looking for. Uh, that certain words in the Nasu verse already have been known to be translated as certain ways. So when you attempt to translate something in the Nasu verse, you need to stick to the like the fan canon of it, so to speak. So one of the reasons why the one translation of Kara no Kyokai that is finished that people don't necessarily like that much is because the guy just decided to forego using the Type Moon glossary. So you will get like weird words that just pop up out of nowhere uh, that mean the same thing as something else, and it will be confusing because you know it as something, but you read it as something else. But I guess that's just one of the problems with uh, the Nasu verse in terms of like all the chuny type of grammar and whatnot. Which I guess is it's part of the appeal though. Not everybody can get into that. Where was I? Light novels, right? Yeah. The one that I haven't been able to finish though is Origairu, which I do want to finish, but I haven't gotten around to it because I was used to reading that physically, and I don't have. I haven't bought any physical volumes recently. Stuff expensive. It's expensive. Why the hell are there Naruto volumes under young adult light novels on Amazon? That makes no sense. Let's see here. Go back to my mail. I can ramble about something on here, I'm sure. Let's see. Let's talk about manga, so I guess I could kind of continue with that. Oh, Railgun. I forgot I was reading Railgun. Um, and also the same thing with Index. I was reading the Index light novels at some point because I desperately wanted to get into Index, but I could never do it, I guess. Like, I want to read Index, and I know I will enjoy it, kind of. There's some parts of it that I enjoy, but then when I finally sat down to read it, I just never finished it, and that's the problem I have. I'm just not able to finish stuff, and that's even worse with me with video games too. Let's see, like there are so many games that I just start and never finish, even though I really like them. Like the last game that happened with me, I was playing Final Fantasy VII, the original one on the PlayStation 1, and uh, I finished the first disc. I put it down because I told myself I was going to play something else, and I haven't touched it in months, even though I was having a really good time playing it. And I have no reasonable explanation as to why I just haven't finished playing it. Because I really want to see it through. And I've already played the bulk of the game, I guess. But it's just commitment issues, I guess. Which is applicable to more things than just video games in my life, unfortunately. But I guess speaking of commitment issues, uh, the next project, the next artificial night sky project, is one that I've been hinting at for months. I told myself I was going to make. I have the next project. The next project is ready. The script is done. I talked about this in my last stream just to show how long it's been and how lazy I am. But I have for the next project. I have the script done. The audio is recorded, and almost all the footage is together. But I just haven't edited it. I have no reason why I haven't done it. That in the time since I've just made other videos, which I could have very well spent that same amount of time making this other one, which will definitely be better than everything I've been working on. But I just haven't. Because after making the under 17 video, I was like, cool. Not doing that for a while. Not doing that again for a while, I mean. And then haven't made anything else. Which is unfortunate, because I really want this next video to be done. But I do have a decent excuse this time. Because after dual booting my computer, because I have part of my hard drive running Linux and the other part running Windows. After dual booting, for some reason, like I went back into Windows after running Linux, and now Adobe Premiere just doesn't open. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's exactly causing this because I looked around a little bit online to see various fixes, but none of them have worked for me, and I feel like it's a weird file permission thing when you are perhaps like partitioning the disk a certain way. Maybe Adobe doesn't like that and just decided to break itself, because I'm able to like launch Premiere, which is where I edit, and the file opens and I'm able to open projects, but as soon as I click a new project or open project, Premiere will just say it's not responding and it will stay unresponsive for as long as you keep the program open. It just won't load anything. So I'm not sure what that is. It's either that file permission thing on the SSD/hard drive, or what I also think it could be a driver thing because there might be conflicting drivers with between NVIDIA drivers on Linux and NVIDIA drivers on Windows. Because I think my Windows NVIDIA drivers are like ancient. I think I haven't updated them in a while because I have no reason to. I have I have a GTX 770 and I haven't like I don't really understand the point of updating graphics drivers. Maybe someone can tell me. But like as far as I'm concerned, as long as you're not playing new games or like you haven't bought a new graphics card, you don't really have to update your graphics drivers as long as nothing's wrong with them. And like I haven't had any problems with them. So I'm just like, well, I guess I'm gonna stay on this old version for as long as I can. Or as long as as long as I don't encounter any issues with them or whatever. Let's see, how long have I been going? 36 minutes. Sick. That's not bad. Not bad at all. GPU drivers always seem to break as well. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I haven't upgraded. Because I know sometimes when like new drivers come out, people have issues with them, and then like they have to iron out kinks and whatnot. So that's not something I necessarily want to deal with, especially if I have an older GPU. It doesn't necessarily need to be upgraded. Let's see, scrolling through my thing here. I haven't gotten around to see the latest Ava movie. I know some people, well, basically everybody has seen it at this point, but I haven't because I'm lazy. Let's see. Evangelion. It's rated pretty. It's rated at 8.78 on Mal. I thought it was like dividing the community, I guess. I know almost, well, to say know almost nothing about it is not entirely true because I skimmed the A threads back when the spoiler threads were out. But let's see. Yeah, I don't really care that much, and I also live under a rock. So I like whenever there's certain discussions happening around something, even when it comes to anime, unless it makes a huge deal and there's like official article published on it on ANN, then I won't know about it. It was this was funny too, because back when like the whole the COVID thing started, I I didn't know what was going on until my mom told me, and it was like, hey, there's a pandemic going on now. I'm like, oh, okay, that doesn't change much for me. I thought it was terrible. People are saying it's better than End of Ava. I find that very hard to believe. Very hard to believe. Um, because End of Ava was it's a pretty good movie. I started to feel differently about Ava, like thinking back on it and thinking back on the message it was giving. But I still think from a technical standpoint, uh, there is little that rivals what the importance of Ava. Uh, like you can't take that away from it because it revolutionized modern anime and started the whole late night anime trend. But I think I don't know. It's just something about it is just kind of rubs me the wrong way. And like even though I really like it technically, something about like what it was trying to say is I mean I don't really agree with anymore. but End of Eva is still pretty good. Ano is still a pretty good director, regardless of what he says or what he's trying to say in his movies. No, I honestly think he's better at live action. I was telling this to someone. Let's see, because he's done a couple live action movies ever since Ava. The one that I remember liking a lot is Love and Pop. Let's see, Love and Pop from 1998, which was not too far after Ava, but it was about Encho Kosai or compensated dating. It was this every couple seconds, Anna will switch to a new camera, and it's this really interesting and experimental movie with a unique message about I guess it's like the social commentary kind of thing, and I recommend if anyone is remotely interested in movies, live action movies, I should say, definitely check out Love and Pop 1998. It shows off that Ano is can do stuff that isn't specifically anime because that's the direction he's heading nowadays. Cause what's he doing next? Is it Kamen Rider? I think he's either doing Kamen Rider. It's like Shin Kamen Rider, right? That's what I think it is. Maybe not. It's either Shin Ultraman is what it is, I think. No, I probably am wrong about that too. He's doing one of those. He's doing some tokusatsu stuff now. Because that's where his heart always has been. And that's why he said very non-based things about otaku and whatnot. Although on the topic of Ava, there was a whole I'm not sure if anyone else saw it, but there was that pre-order for the Blu-rays. Let's see, Evangelion. That was kind of crazy. G Kids recently put out a limited edition. What do they call it? Ultimate edition of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Definitive edition. They're throwing around important words like that. But it was like $270 or something. And even though it's a fairly nice collection, uh, I think that was really steep. That's like $10 an episode, and there was no word about it even having End of Ava on it. I think like for that price, you should have at least thrown in um, End of Ava and maybe possibly even, or even if you don't put End of Ava, put like Death and Rebirth and what was the other one? It was the one with the superscript in it, but I don't remember that. It was just like the recap. I think End of Ava has an ambiguous ending. I know some people see it as saying just be yourself, but I thought Shinji saying he'd go through the same thing over and over again was just more inclusive. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that honestly. I was trying to convince myself to rewatch Ava, but I didn't get around to it this summer. I like the first time I watched Ava, I watched it during the summer, and I feel to at least for me, it feels like a summer type show, so I wanted to rewatch it then. And then one coin Sacchan says he's doing both actually, Ultraman and Kamen Rider. 3.0 plus 1.0 is just Ano telling me to touch grass. Yep, but that's not going to convince me to go outside, unfortunately. That's the thing. It's just more Ryaju messages and whatever, which I mean is good for some people, but um, I feel like it's a show that like I feel Evangelion is a show for failed Ryaju that are just kind of sad about not having a GF. Uh, and then like the kind of messages it's saying are able to resonate more with them because they're a little bit more in tune with the like the same type of value system that Ryaju would have. So when they'll say things like "go outside" and it's okay to have friends and stuff, that's more for them. I said it was storming earlier, but now it's not storming anymore. Now it's just humid. So it's gonna be terrible. Craters seem to crash and burn in their middle age, 20s, 30s is their peak. Yeah, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Um, I know some people do get better over time, but I think there's like there's this thing where as soon as they start throwing around the whole made by the director of this or the made by the writer of this, their name no longer holds that much importance because the thing that they're making is most likely not going to be as good as what they originally made back then. For a number of reasons, it could mostly just be like nostalgia, or you're going to be more critical about the new thing. But it always feels like to me whenever they say, "Oh, it's being made by the same studio that brought you this" or whatever. It I'm always expecting it not to be as good. Yeah, it was storming earlier. Now it's not outside. Yep, that's the unfortunate thing. I just want, dude, I just want the summer to end already. It's been so terrible. It's been like 70% humidity and above, and in the 90s and sunny constantly. I want the sun to just disappear and it be like 20 degrees every day. I'm done with summer. Every year this happens. It's I can't I can't deal with it. It's honestly it's the most uncomfy season. And, eventually the winter will be around the corner and that will be great. Okay, interesting news. Let's see. I don't have any more soda, unfortunately. Autumn supremacy. Autumn is nice. Autumn is it's a good season. Though last year in my area, it felt like we didn't have fall. Usually, like in my area where I live, in the United States, it's like a normal 4 seasons. Uh, but like last year, maybe it was just because I was like a hikikomori inside all the time. But it felt like there was 1 week of fall, and then it was over because it was like it felt like it was 70 degrees until like mid-November, and then it there was a week where it was kind of chilly, and then it just became winter. Uh, but that might have been partially due to the fact that my apartment had horrible ventilation that past year. I'm not sure what happened in between the first year I was living there and the second year, but the second year it felt like it was with like it just always felt like it was 10 degrees warmer than it was outside. Regardless, even when it was in the middle of winter, it felt kind of warm, and I feel like it was probably neighbors. The neighbors were probably had their heater on or something retarded. But that's the unfortunate thing about living in an apartment. But now I gotta look back at home. Kind of miss living in my apartment, honestly. Or not kind of, I definitely do miss it. Because it definitely limits the amount of times that I can just do whatever. So that's the time that I'm definitely gonna be nostalgic about. That I'm sort of glad I started making videos when I did before I moved out, because now I can look back at some of those vlogs that I was making and be like, oh yeah, you remember that one time when when I was living like this or something like that. It's a time capsule, I guess. I can't talk. Though, like I said, I kind of wish I started making them earlier, but there's not really much I can do about that. I'm gonna close this extra window here. Let's see. Let's see. Though I'm glad that I haven't had any problems with OBS so far. knock on wood, on Linux right now. That I was half expecting something to go wrong. Because when I first started the stream, I'm not sure if there's anyone who's been listening since I started it, but um, I was having some issues with the audio when I first started it. But now we're okay. It's all good now. It's all daijobu. But thus far, Linux has been alright. It's been alright to me. I'm gonna delete that. Let's see. I guess I could I'll probably wrap up with one other topic and then before ending the stream, probably tentatively. The I guess not the last topic, but one of the only topics I wanted to talk about was like the fact that I don't use image boards anymore. Like I was thinking about this recently, like, well, it was probably due. Let me look at the video, but it was when I was saying I died in 2017 that I was reminiscing about image boards and whatnot, and I was just thinking about the last time I was really involved with the whole image board culture and whatever. What's he saying? Sorry, I got a message. But anyways, image boards. I haven't been involved really with the image board culture, and I kind of feel like I've been stuck in that time capsule from then. I'm not sure like how often other people stay involved with image boards, but for me it was kind of like a passing, kind of like a little passing trend. I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it. Whenever I do streams, I just can't speak. By the way, I mean this is the only second time I've done it, but it was kind of like this thing that I was involved with for a little bit, and it was only for a couple months too when I got really involved with the image board culture and stuff, and that's what I was doing a lot of. But nowadays I really don't browse image boards anymore. Though occasionally I will still hop on over to JP on 4chan, and because there's a couple of generals that I like to follow there, and sometimes there's an interesting thread. Like there was one, like occasionally you'll see things. Like right now there's a thread that's 2000s Toho fan art thread, which is really cool. And sometimes like the train streams are comfy to just hop into and watch. But most of the time, or like not most of the time, but like for a long period of time, there was just a lot of VTuber stuff that I wasn't into, and a lot of times there's just random threads like people will make, and I don't know how they go out. But it's mostly just Toho stuff nowadays. It's interesting to look at and see how those guys are over there doing. But my favorite threads were on there were the Denpa threads, but there hardly are Denpa threads anymore. Like I just searched Denpa and there isn't a thread right now. That when I was getting into Denpa threads were on there all the time. But nowadays, there hasn't been a Denpa thread in months, which is unfortunate. But I guess the thing is that Denpa really isn't as popular anymore, or it sort of died. Well, not died. Here, I'm gonna read the comment, because there was this comment I saw on Last FM, but let's see here. Let me find it. Comment. Oh shoot, where was it? I can't remember if it was on Nanahida's or Toromi's page. Shit. I'm not sure if it was a copy pasta or not. There we go. Crap. I can't find it. I'm gonna give it a couple seconds. Here we go. This guy says, in 2020, Denpa is dying. VTuber, the late 2010s trend, is absorbing everyone. We are officially a decadent genre, and this word certainly adds a flavor. At least I know that you, my friend, will stick with us. And that was on Toromi's Last FM page. Shout out to that guy. What was his name? Well, actually, he's or her. Marionette 18. But it kind of feels like with the whole VTuber thing that some people who are listening to Denpa have shifted, or the people who or also like the people who are making Denpa, like Nanahida. Last I heard, she was doing VTuber stuff, and I don't really follow that anymore, so I can't really I guess like confirm or deny this, but that's just kind of what I felt it was like, unfortunately. But that there hasn't really been too much Denpa being released, especially since Comic Hit hasn't happened. Uh, I don't think was there a Comic Hit in 2020? I don't think there was, and I don't even know if there was an M3. But when they were, there were threads, and there was some things, but a lot of the big Denpa artists aren't as active as they used to be. So it's sort of like on a downhill in terms of how much production's around it, and if there's no artists actively making music for the scene, then it sort of dies. It will still be remembered, obviously, but there won't be that many threads, and there's not really that much to talk about within the threads, besides the same things people have been talking about for like 10 years. There's only so much you can talk about Mosaic Wave and Under 17 and Totomi and stuff. Does Totomi even still make music? I don't think she does. She's like 30 now. Because I looked at that when I was looking into my under 17 video. Like, how old is Totomi? And I think she's definitely. I don't want to say she's old. Cause Totomi doesn't age in my head. In my head canon. But she recorded like the Popotan, uh, like a theme song for Popotan, which was the I think I forgot what it was, but she recorded a theme song for Popotan, and it was when she was like 17, and that was in the early 2000s. So it's been like 15 years since then. So she's in her 30s or possibly even 40s now. Doesn't make Denpa that much anymore. Possibly moving into the production side of things like Momoi Haruko did. But there aren't too many Denpa artists because nowadays it's not as viable as a career choice, because unfortunately a lot of people, a lot of voice talents are doing like getting on VTuber stuff or just being regular streamers. That it's sort of moving away from the music side because music is harder to make and not everybody could sing. Because that's just how things work, unfortunately. But I do feel kind of sad. Maybe I'll make a Denpa thread now that I'm talking about it. I'll be the change that I want to see in the world. I'll go copy the something from an old thread and make a new thread on JP or Denpa and see how long that survives. Because the last one I do remember happening. I probably still have it bookmarked here. Denpa thread, Denpa thread, Denpa bread. It was January. It couldn't have been January 29th. There was. I know there was another one, but I don't remember exactly when it was. I do miss Denpa though. It's unfortunate, but I do still think that there's a lot to take in with older things, and it's definitely a very niche hobby and a niche genre of music. So there's never really going to be a whole ton of discussion because the amount of people who are involved with the discussion are already in very small pockets. So there's not really too much there to make like a general or whatever about it. Like, it is, like I said, unfortunate because now without having a thread active, there won't be people discovering Denpa music for the first time. And without those threads, I wouldn't have discovered Denpa in the first place. And I don't know. I think that's about it. I've sort of exhausted my my ideas. I just wanted to I don't think I even answered my own question about why I don't use image boards anymore. But it's mostly due to the fact that I don't really browse the internet anymore. There are some sites that I still browse, like obviously YouTube and whatnot. But when it comes to following image boards and stuff, I get really lazy about that, and I feel that it's wasting my time now. And once I get that the whole time wasting thing into my head, I can't really stomach following all these threads and stuff and posting in threads. Because I know that my time could be allocated in a better way. Because back in the day, I used to spend a lot of time on image boards, and it was cool and all, but I felt like I wasn't really doing anything, and my entire personality, for lack of better words, was shaped by it, which is unfortunate, I guess, because it did add to my sense of humor and whatnot, but I didn't really have much outside of that. But now that I kind of do my own thing and I don't really look at image boards anymore. Uh, it's uh, it's more of me, I think. It's the whole thing about individualism that I would go on and on about. But now I'm just rambling. It's kind of pointless, I think. So I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream here because I've been going on for a bit. And I need to get up and adjust the air condition because it's getting too hot in here. And now I feel gross. I'm gonna start getting stuck to the chair. This is why I hate summer. Summer should just disappear, man. I just saw someone outside the window. But I'm gonna end the stream here. This was kind of a pointless stream. I just had some time, so I figured, hey, might as well ramble into a microphone or something and see who shows up. But I appreciate anyone who like hopped in or whatever. And I'll be ending the stream here in a couple seconds. We'll see what's next on the agenda in terms of videos and whatever. Maybe I'll actually make a video. Close this here. Yeah, an hour first stream is pretty good. Maybe, actually, hold on. One last thing. Not next week, but maybe sometime the following weekend, like one of the first days of September, uh, I think I'll do a stream that day. Because I think my parents are going to be out of town, so I'll have time to do something there. But we'll see. It's all dependent on a lot of things too, but we'll see. Alright, now I'm just dragging things on, so I'll end the stream here. Have a good weekend, everybody.